Hi, I'm Marna, and today's video is a threefold video. First of all, this is our monthly crafters video. Second of all, this is something anybody can do, and you'll probably come up with better and more ideas than I did. And third of all, I'm showing off my American Girl collection. These are eBay dresses. I got each one for less than, well, way less than you think, but less than $5, let's say. And it comes with a little cap and a little sundress. Very simple. It looks like this on the doll. Now, not all of my dolls on display today have been cleaned up like I like them cleaned up, nor have they been tightened. That's for other videos, but here they are today to show them off. So this is the basic little dress. It's just a little summer dress with a little, it's supposed to be a sun bonnet. It reminds me of a rain bonnet. Now it is not this set. This set is different. I've had this for several years. And it's very, very cute, and I didn't pay much for it either. Again, I got it on eBay. But look at the difference between the hats. This one is a hat, this one is a cap. A cap has the little triangles that come together. A hat has the circle. What you're looking for is the cap. And what I did with this little outfit is actually endless. And one of the first things I came up with was to make underpants out of the cap. And that, I think they're cute. And that we have the tutorial for. So we lost some footage, and that's why you see different colored dresses here. So we're redoing this. Okay, so there's the little dress, and here's the hat. And what we're gonna do is we are gonna make these panties. So you want to take your doll, here's the idea, and we're going to fold this under, and we're going to sew that down so that we can add underwear. We're going to sew it about halfway down. What we need to do is line up the seams and cut leg holes. And you want to go above the seam, or I'm sorry, below the seam at the hat brim. And you're not going all the way down to where the 4 triangles meet. But what you want to do is swoop, uh-oh, I don't have good scissors here. Swoop out and then back in. And then do the same on the other side, starting at the brim, so that you're starting at the top and going down. Why? Because your fabric may walk. Walking means move. And you don't want to cut it incorrectly. Cut one side and then the other. Make sure that it goes on your doll. This doll is loosey-goosey. I needed her as a model, but she had not been cleaned up or tightened yet. Okay, so there's your legs. And the first thing we're going to do is sew that under the hat brim halfway in the back of the panties, and it doesn't matter which side is front or back. In the back, in the middle, you're going to leave an opening. You're not going to sew that shut. As you go around, you'll have to gather this as you sew. All right, I am noticing that my triangle seam and my hat band do not match up. What I'm going to match up is hat band to hat band. And then I'm just going to start it over a little bit, put a lockdown on it, take my sewing machine backwards, that is, and then I'm going to put these little bitty gathers all the way around. Okay, so here's what you've got, and we're going to put elastic in there. And what we want to do on the legs, what I do on the legs, is I'm going to start at the bottom. I have my machine on zigzag because I don't have much else. And then I'm going to go around at least twice on that edge with the zigzag hanging over the side. Okay, so you got your little panties or bloomers or undies or whatever you call them in your neck of the woods. You take a piece of elastic and you measure it. What size elastic? Well, the size you can get, because it's 2020 and I had a heck of a time finding elastic. I would recommend 3/8. This is a little wider and it will be fine. What you want to do is wrap this around. You're going to want it snug. So wrap it around your doll's waist and pull it just a little bit, because by the time you add your stitch, that'll be perfect. And then cut your elastic. You're going to need a little safety pin, and this time you'll need a little one, not a large one. And then the area that we left open in the back, couldn't find it for a second, you're going to take your safety pin, run it up inside that area, and run this all the way around your panties. And then what you're going to do is sew your elastic together. And here's our little matching panties that go with the little dress. For these two sets, I enhanced the hat with the bow. And what I did on this one was I took the bow off the dress and simply sewed it to the hat, adding a ribbon for a belt, which I think's cute. And for this one, I took more narrow ribbon and I did the waist under the belt. I just pushed the bow up and sewed that down. And then I took the same ribbon and made sleeves, put it around the hat. I took one of the sleeves and made it a bow to put over the little ribbon on there. For this doll, I took the hat and I cut pieces off and I made her flip-flops out of it. And I have the tutorial for that. What we're going to do for this particular set is make a pair of flip-flops. And to do that, you will need 4 pieces of foam or even cardboard. And I'm trying to get her foot lined up. You will need a pencil, not a pen, not a marker, a pencil. Draw around your doll's feet. When you cut these out, cut them just a little larger. I couldn't find mine, but I'll give you a little hack. I used to work with leather, and if you have a ballpoint pen that runs out of ink, continue to use it and make sure all the ink is clear. And then you can use that on foam or leather or suede. And what it'll do is it'll give an impression, or if you press hard, it'll actually make an indentation. And with leather, and perhaps with this, if you're just making a, a little mark, is you can take your hand and work that back out. With the ink or even pencil, you cannot do that. What we're going to do next is we'll need her foot to measure again. Well, first let me cut this off, and I'm starting at the seam and I'm going to cut this off all the way around. What I have is another skull cap or wig cap, and I'm going to try a yarn wig this time for my American Girl doll. So I'll put that to the side. What we have here is going to be the strap across the shoe. And I'm trying to decide how wide I would like to have that. So I have my doll and I'm looking at it, and I think I like a wide piece. So I'm going to cut this here and another one like it. You know what? I'm going to give that extra because I'd like it tucked in. And then another one just like it. I'm going to take my glue gun and turn down those edges so that the shoe does not fray. And I will. Our camera went out, but what I had done was I took the edges and I just rolled those under just a little bit with the glue gun. And now I'm measuring the foot. I have a foam pad on the foot, and we're going to put 2 little dots of glue. Let me put that foot in the air on the doll's foot, lining that all up. And my glue gun is really fighting me. So, okay, so I'm gluing that down. And I'm kind of letting that sit a second, and then I'm pulling this around snug. You don't want it too tight, but you want it snug. And I'm gluing that down to the other side. I could have gone back a little further, but it'll be all right. And then after it dries, I'm pulling it off. I'm going to cover this shoe, hopefully, with hot glue. Ugh, my glue gun. Just a mess. But it's what I have today, so we are going on. And then I'm going to line this up and press down. And that secures your strap on both sides. I saved these items so that I could make another wig cap as I did for this doll. There is actually part of this cap underneath that wig with Velcro so that this doll has removable wig. I have a whole video on this particular doll. For this dress and cap, all I did was I took some matching. You could also do contrasting lace, and I did sew this on by sewing machine. This was, believe it or not, I cut a piece of lace off the roll, and I did the skirt and the hat, and I had just enough left over, believe it or not, without measuring, to do this piece. I thought it was kind of cute. This particular doll, I took the cap and I made it into a ball cap using part of it for a bow on the cap, and we have that tutorial. We lost the footage of me making this little cap, little ball, baseball cap for this doll. Boy, she's loosey-goosey. Again, she was not cleaned up or tightened yet. I needed a model, so I grabbed this one. What I did for this was I took the little cap from the dress set. I put it on her head, and I saw that there's a seam lined up with this particular triangle. So we're going to move over so that, oh, there's a seam there. Let's see. Well, how about that? This one has seams. The others did not. Okay, not a problem. We are going to cut our hat very slowly, starting just past the triangle seam. And we're coming in at an angle. So we're going to take that up to the seam, rolling that back, and we're leaving the hat to seam allowance there. Okay, so what you want to do is the baseball caps kind of come out a little bit. They don't get wider, they get more narrow towards the front. So you want to cut a piece for the front, lining it up, but remember you're going to tuck this under to make a seam. Okay, so what you want to do is go just a little bit past and cut it at an angle, cutting the other side angle more forward. And then we're going to take a zigzag stitch and add that to the front of this hat underneath. Yes, that'll stick out a little bit. Don't worry about it yet. When you start at one side, come across. When you get to that side, tuck your hat bill under and go all the way around with a zigzag stitch so that you're catching the fabric and it won't fray. Come all the way around and carry this out to the front. This gets tucked in after, as you can see. If you try to cut that, it'll come out, well, it doesn't come out right. So try to do it like that. For the little bow, I went along the edge of the hat. I don't want the seam in it. And I cut that off right at the seam, keeping the seam on the side I want. And I wish I had better scissors here. And then you simply fold it like this. Squish your bow in the center and sew that down. These dresses and caps come in, so many prints and patterns and colors. I do not have them all. I have a lot of them. I took this particular one, took the bow off of the waist, added a ribbon, and then I cut the hat in half and I made cap sleeves. I have the first sleeve on. I sewed it by hand. I took a seam ripper and very carefully took the bow off of the dress. I put it on an orange hair tie so that the doll could wear this in their hair. And let me show you how I did this hat to sleeve. This is half of the cap. I literally took the scissors and I cut it down the middle along the seam. I did not seam rip it. Then I took and I folded the top of the hat down so that it looked like this. Okay? Then you find the middle. See how that goes? It's a little off. I'm going to have to start a little off with that one. Not much though. It's right at the seam. I took the dress and I found the center of the strap for the sleeveless. Okay, and I'm going to, with this folded, find center and lay that on there. How I did this, you could pin it all up nice and sew that with your sewing machine and it will work just fine. What I did was I started on one side and went down and around. I went down to the inside the inside towards the neck of that strap, came along down to here, and then it just stitched. It just fit really, really well. And that's what I'm going to do on this side. I started at the top in the middle with one side, and I sewed all the way down that strap. And now I'm going to turn and bring this around, keeping that tucked, down to where the side seams meet. When I get there, there will be a little extra. That will just sit there till we get the other side stitched down. Okay, I'm down to the seam. I'm going to push this in on the inside, even with that hanging. I'm going to leave that hang and go underneath and make a knot. This side is knotted and on. I'm making sure I've got that cap turned under where I want it, and I'm going to start at the top on the other side, and I'm going to follow this the inside of that strap all the way down, and then come around, and I'll show you what we do to close the sleeve. When you get to the end, on either side, you will have just a little bit of the end hanging, and what you do is put those together and sew, and then knot that off at the bottom. Now I'm taking ribbon, orange ribbon, and I'm going to make a little belt where I took off that bow at the waist. I had this much ribbon left, and I'm going to leave that on till I try it on. I'm going to go ahead and sew this down and cut that at a slant. I'm going to find the fancy side, that would be this one, and I'm just going to tack this ribbon. I'm going to find center and find the center of my ribbon. I'm going to take it and put it in the middle of the dress at the front, and then I'm going over to the side seam, and I'm taking my thread, and I'm just going to tack the ribbon to it so that when you take this off the doll, the ribbon stays with the dress, and you don't lose it. And then you always have the belt. Now, you can, if you want, tack both sides. In other words, when I finish this, I could pull this taut over on this side and tack it down there too. When I took the bow off of her dress, I sewed it to a matching hair tie so I could use it in her hair as just a little hair tie. For this one, I did the same. You can see her little belt, but I made hers 3/4 length sleeves by using the edge of the hat. This one I folded under. And then I took the bow off of her dress and I put it on a hat, giving a head tip to the Samantha dolls, one of the original outfits. This doll came to me with no clothing or shoes. She was quite a mess, and we cleaned her up. Fall is approaching ever so quickly. It's a couple weeks, we are officially into fall. So your doll might need, it still gets hot in the afternoons in the fall, but mornings and evenings are very cool. And I took this hat and I split it down the center, and I made it into a little wrap, a little shawl, if you will. I cut the hat straight up one seam of the triangles, and I stitched it under, and then I added ribbon to either side to tie this around the doll's shoulders. You could also add a little jean jacket or a little shawl. I hate the colors of the shawl. It looked better in the skein. But at any rate, that's the fall colors I had right now. I have this very, very simple pattern up on my website at dollsrescued.com. You can also add other little hats. This would be fun if they went to a ball game. No, it doesn't fit perfect. Have you ever seen people at a baseball game with the silly hats? They don't fit perfect either. But I thought that was cute. You could also take the bow off of here and put it across the KC if that's not your team. And it's just fun. And that's what you can do with this doll dress. Here's the wonderful thing about these dresses. Not only do they fit the American Girls and other 18-inch dolls like your My Life As or the Our Journey, Journey Girls or the Our Generation, all that line, you know, any of the 18-inch dolls. These also fit 28-inch Barbies, Chatty Cathy, Chatty Baby. Now I don't know if this particular dress does, but a lot of the 18-inch doll clothing also fit Tiny Baby Brother, as well as the Bitty Babies and other dolls. So these are not just for the 18-inch dolls. If you don't have those in your collection, but you have other dolls that size, you may still be interested to know that this is a hidden giveaway, and we are giving away one dress. The rest of my crafters will be receiving this one dress with elastic. There's enough elastic here to make the underpants, panties, whatever you want to call them, as well as enough to make a headband with the bow. And just for fun, an American Girl size recorder. I think they're cute. I should have had a rubber band for her to hold that. I sent out everybody's packets, and I had one more for a hidden giveaway. So one person is going to get, one of my subscribers is going to get the actual packet, and another subscriber is going to get a dress. Please leave a comment below, and you will be entered into the hidden giveaways. Okay, I know this video got really long, and I apologize for that, but I had one more doll in my collection. She was in the box upstairs, and so she didn't get her moment under the camera, so I had to go up and get her. We just got her, a couple weeks ago. I hope the beginner crafters are having a good time with the packets that we mail out. And remember, all subscribers, including my beginner crafters, are eligible to participate in the hidden giveaways. If you won a hidden giveaway yesterday, it doesn't matter. You're eligible to win again. Please leave a comment below. Which of the outfits that I redesigned did you like the best? Leave a comment, like, and subscribe.